In the middle of a vast desert in Central Asia, there is a massive crater that has been burning for decades. Flames rise constantly from the ground. At night, the entire landscape glows with an intense orange light. The fire never stops. It burns day and night without pause. Locals have given this strange place a dramatic name. They call it the door to hell. This mysterious location is known as the Darvaza Gas Crater. The Darvaza Gas Crater is located in the Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan. The Karakum Desert covers nearly 70% of the country. It is a vast region of sand dunes, dry plains, and extreme temperatures. Traveling across the desert can be difficult and dangerous, but hidden within this empty landscape is one of the strangest sights on Earth. The crater itself is enormous. It measures roughly 70 meters across. That is about the length of a football field. The hole drops more than 30 meters deep into the ground. Inside the crater, hundreds of flames burn continuously. The fire comes from natural gas escaping from underground deposits. The sight is both beautiful and terrifying. Standing near the crater at night feels almost unreal. The entire pit glows with bright orange flames. Heat rises into the desert air. The ground around the crater is warm, and the sound of burning gas fills the silence of the desert. But the story of how this crater formed is just as fascinating as the fire itself. The Darvaza Gas Crater was not created naturally. Instead, it was the result of a scientific accident. During the early 1970s, Soviet geologists were exploring the Karakum Desert. They believed large deposits of natural gas existed beneath the sand. Natural gas was extremely valuable for energy production. The scientists began drilling in the desert to locate gas reserves. At first, everything appeared normal, but suddenly the ground collapsed beneath the drilling site. The drilling platform fell into a large underground cavern. The collapse created a massive hole in the ground. Soon after the collapse, something even more dangerous happened. Large amounts of natural gas began escaping from the crater. Natural gas can be extremely dangerous. If the gas spreads into the air, it can harm nearby communities and wildlife. The scientists needed a way to stop the gas from spreading. They believed the best solution was to burn the gas. Their plan was simple. They would set the crater on fire. The gas would burn away within a few days. After the gas supply was gone, the fire would naturally stop. At least that was the expectation. But the scientists were wrong. Instead of burning out after a few days, the fire continued. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And eventually the flames continued burning for decades. Even today, the fire still burns in the crater. More than 50 years after the accident, the flames have never stopped. The burning crater quickly became one of the most unusual locations in the region. Travelers and explorers who heard about the strange fire wanted to see it for themselves. But reaching the crater was not easy. The Karakum Desert is vast and remote. Roads are limited. Large areas of the desert are difficult to navigate. Visitors often travel for hours across rough terrain before reaching the crater. When they finally arrive, the sight is unforgettable. During the day, the crater looks like a giant pit in the desert floor. Flames flicker across the bottom of the crater. Heat waves rise into the air. But the real spectacle begins at night. After sunset, the flames become far more visible. The entire crater glows bright orange against the dark desert sky. From a distance, it almost looks like a portal to another world. The intense light can be seen from far away. Visitors standing near the edge can feel the heat from the flames below. Some travelers even camp near the crater to experience the view throughout the night. Despite its dramatic appearance, the crater is not completely silent. The sound of burning gas creates a constant roaring noise. Small explosions sometimes occur as pockets of gas ignite. The flames dance across the rocky walls of the crater. For many people, the experience feels both thrilling and unsettling. The nickname Door to Hell became popular because of this intense atmosphere. The glowing pit surrounded by darkness reminded people of ancient descriptions of the underworld. But scientifically, the explanation is much simpler. The flames are fueled by natural gas trapped beneath the desert. Turkmenistan contains some of the largest natural gas reserves in the world. In many areas, gas remains trapped underground. When the drilling accident occurred in the 1970s, one of these gas pockets was exposed. Since then, the gas has continued flowing into the crater. As long as gas continues to escape, the flames continue to burn. Scientists have studied the crater to understand its behavior. The heat inside the crater can reach extremely high temperatures. Despite the intense heat, some microorganisms have been discovered living in the area. Researchers were surprised to find bacteria capable of surviving near the flames. These microorganisms may offer clues about life in extreme environments. Studying these organisms can help scientists understand how life might survive in harsh conditions, elsewhere on Earth or even on other planets. The crater has also become a symbol of Turkmenistan. Photographs of the burning pit have spread across the internet. Many travelers now add the door to hell to their list of unusual destinations. The government of Turkmenistan has occasionally discussed closing the crater. Officials worry about the environmental impact of the constant burning gas. However, the crater has also become a unique tourist attraction. For now, the flames continue to burn in the desert. Standing near the Darvaza Gas Crater can be an overwhelming experience. The desert around the crater is quiet and empty. Sand stretches to the horizon in every direction. Then suddenly the ground opens into a massive, fiery pit. The contrast between the silent desert and the roaring flames is dramatic. Visitors must be careful when approaching the crater. The edges of the pit can be unstable. Loose sand and rocks can shift unexpectedly. Falling into the crater would be extremely dangerous. Because of this risk, travelers are advised to remain a safe distance from the edge. Despite the dangers, the crater continues to attract scientists and explorers. Researchers are interested in the geological activity beneath the desert. The Karakum Desert sits above large natural gas deposits. Understanding how these deposits behave can help scientists manage energy resources more safely. The crater also provides insight into how underground gas systems work. Over time, the shape of the crater has slowly changed. The intense heat affects the surrounding rock. Some areas of the crater wall gradually collapse. This causes the shape of the crater to shift slightly. However, the overall structure has remained surprisingly stable for decades. The fire itself can vary in intensity. Some nights the flames appear smaller. Other nights the entire crater seems filled with roaring fire. Wind conditions can influence the movement of the flames. Strong winds may cause the fire to lean in one direction. The desert environment also creates dramatic temperature differences. During the day, the Karakum Desert becomes extremely hot, but at night temperatures can drop quickly. This contrast makes nighttime visits to the crater especially dramatic. The cold desert air mixes with the heat rising from the flames. Visitors often describe the experience as surreal. Looking into the crater can feel like staring into the center of the earth. Yet this strange phenomenon began with a simple drilling accident. No one expected the fire to last so long. What began as a temporary solution became one of the most unusual landmarks in the world. Today, the Darvaza Gas Crater remains one of the most mysterious and fascinating locations in Central Asia. Few places on Earth look quite like it. A giant pit filled with fire burning in the middle of an empty desert. The image seems almost impossible, yet the crater continues to burn year after year. Some scientists believe the fire could eventually burn out. If the underground gas supply decreases, the flames may slowly fade. However, no one knows exactly when that might happen. The natural gas reserves beneath the desert are enormous. The flames could continue burning for many more years. The crater has become an example of how human activity can create unexpected consequences. A small drilling accident transformed the desert landscape forever. It also created one of the most unusual natural spectacles on the planet. For travelers, the door to hell represents adventure and curiosity. For scientists, it represents a fascinating geological phenomenon. And for locals, it is simply a strange part of the desert landscape. Standing beside the glowing crater at night, many visitors feel a sense of awe. The flames dance across the darkness. The desert sky stretches above, filled with stars. The heat rises from the crater like a giant furnace. Moments like this remind us how powerful the Earth can be. Deep beneath the surface, forces of nature continue to shape our world. Sometimes those forces create landscapes that feel almost otherworldly. The Darvaza Gas Crater is one of those places, a fiery window into the depths of the earth, and one of the strangest burning mysteries on our planet.